Good morning, Max Living Faithful. Hope you're having a great start to your Memorial Day weekend. Continuing with part 2 of our Max Immunity Seminar with the goal of doing two things. Number one, to empower you to have the best immune system possible, which makes you strong, healthy, and able to fight off all sorts of pathogens and bacteria and everything else. The second thing is to challenge maybe some of your preconceived notions on how to have a strong immune system, especially in this current situation that we're in. So starting with Max Immunity Part 2, the first thing that I want to talk about is something that is maybe one of the more misunderstood things on how your body works, and that is having a fever. So think about this. When you go camping, if you need to clean, the utensils that you've been using for multiple days, if you stick your fork, like, let's say a metal fork or a plate or a bowl or whatever, into lukewarm water, does it kill the bacteria and viruses and things that are on the plate? It might wash them off, but everybody knows it doesn't kill them. Now, if you stick that same utensil into boiling water for a period of time, we all know that's how sterilization occurs. If you get it up to a certain temperature, it kills the viruses and bacteria. That's the basics for sterilization for anything, for going to have surgery, for clean utensils or plates or anything like that. Now, consider this. Your body is built to fluctuate in temperature for illness as high as 98 degrees or possibly even lower, all the way up to 105 degrees. Now, what's happening when you have a fever is that your body is raising it to a temperature that kills the invading pathogen. I want to say that again. The fever, specifically, your body's doing the right thing. It's raising your body temperature to a temperature that will kill the pathogen. Now, what happens if you break the fever? It multiplies. In fact, some viruses can double every 20 minutes. So what if you took an ibuprofen or a Tylenol to break the fever, and you break that fever for 12 hours? If it doubles every 20 minutes, just get out your phone and double it that many times, double it 36 times. You're talking about millions, billions, trillions of cells, all because you didn't allow your body to do the right thing. So think about this now in the current situation that we're in. If your body gets a fever, yes, it's concerning because of the possible, let's say, diagnosis, but should your body have a fever? Absolutely, it should. It's doing the right thing. It's trying to kill the invading thing. And because there's so much fear right now, I would strongly encourage you to remember this when our current situation is over and you get a little bit of a fever and you're uncomfortable with the common flu or the common cold, or your child is, because ultimately this whole idea of breaking a fever because you're nervous when you hit 101 or 102 or whatever is actually allowing the person to get sicker. And this silly thought has led to so much more illness and infection in our country because of, in my opinion, poor medical advice. Yes, when you get to 105 degrees, there's a small chance that you have a meningitis infection and that it's very, very serious. But in many cases, or in the majority of cases, what your body's doing is it's raising your body temperature to kill off the virus or bacteria, to both shorten the amount of time that you're sick, but also keep you well and keep you alive. So remember that a fever is a good thing. Breaking a fever is a bad thing in almost every instance, with a few rare exceptions. So the general recommendation in the natural healthcare community is to wait to break a fever until you get over 104.5. I can tell you personally, 2 out of my 3 children have had fevers over 105. In fact, we've gotten to 106 before. And yes, 2 times I've used Tylenol to break the fever, 1 for each child when they got over 105. But ultimately, a fever is a very good thing, and healthy people, their bodies tend to be able to use fevers even faster and more effectively. And so you want to let fevers run their course. It's your body doing the right thing. Be empowered. Remember that your body's strong and it can fight off so many of pathogens, viruses, bacteria. Another way to naturally induce fever, exercise. Is not actually naturally inducing fever, but intense exercise. I'm not talking about going for a leisurely walk, but intense exercise where you get out of breath and you sweat. This raises your body temperature and it kills things. It helps your body kill things that are invading. It helps viruses and bacteria die that are bad for you. So I'm glad to see people getting outside, getting exercise, going for walks. It's been rough probably for many of you. It has been for me to not be able to be at the gym to play basketball with friends of mine, to just be in that group environment, lifting weights or doing workouts. Doing them at home is not near as exciting, and it does take more discipline. Openly agree to that. But again, going back to this whole idea of what do you need to do to strengthen your body to help you fight off the current pandemic or whatever you're talking about? Well, intense exercise is huge for your immune system, absolutely huge. And so by you choosing to exercise more intensely, and what do I mean? I really mean this. You need to get out of breath for at least 6 minutes total in your workout. But intense exercise where you're sweating, where you're breathing hard, it helps your body kill things. It helps your immune system get stronger. And so it makes a big difference in long term in being able to shorten or be exposed to certain things. And let me use this as an example. Many people that are exposed to the current virus that's out there have minimal or no symptoms. It's like having a cold, or they're asymptomatic. The last 2 people that I found out about have absolutely no symptoms and their body's just fighting it off. And what happens is you build antibodies, so it makes it very difficult to ever catch that same infection again. And so what should you do? Again, don't live in fear. Boost your immune system, strengthen your body. If you really go through a checklist, are you eating healthy? Are you getting adjusted? Are you exercising? Are you detoxing? Are you keeping a minimal stress level? Are you meditating? Are you getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep? Are you drinking enough water? Are you doing all those things? Do a checklist for yourself. It's not for me to be critical. My point is are you doing those things? Because those things, along with taking supplements, especially vitamin D and C, are shown to, really help you have less dramatic symptoms whenever you come in contact. Is it a guarantee? Of course not. But does it help your immune system? Absolutely it does. And so just do that checklist for me. Supplements, food, mindset, adjustments, exercise, detoxification. Do that checklist. And if you know you're not doing some of those things, that's where your mind should be focused on. Not what the number of infections are, not what the death count is. Your mind should be on, how do I really build my system? Because that's really how herd immunity develops, is more people have to be exposed and then develop immunity. I talked about yesterday the importance of getting out and getting sunshine. Really, more importantly, your body developing vitamin D, because you can develop vitamin D for nothing. If you get outside, especially midday sun, it's supposed to be warm this weekend. Yes, it's supposed to rain, but if you can get out in between the rain, get some natural vitamin D, helps your immune system. Otherwise, supplement with vitamin D. But it's very, very important to get sunshine. I know right now there's so many people that if you sniffle or cough or sneeze, they look at you like you have the plague, and well, again, you need to take certain precautions. Remember that, having a fever helps your body kill it. Coughing and sneezing is your body getting the stuff out that protected it from getting farther through your system. So why do you develop mucus? Mucus stops things that your body does not want internally from getting farther into your system. And then once it's, sticks it up in that glue-like substance or the mucus, it needs to get it out. So that's where coughs and sneezes or sniffles come from. You got to blow all that crap out of you. Well, again, I wouldn't do it in public right now for fear of another person's reaction. But it is your body doing the right thing at the right time. Be empowered. Last thing for today, masks. All right, here's the thing. I'm not here to say masks are good or bad. Most of you watching this live in the state of Illinois where we're wearing them everywhere. But I just want to, again, for those that are wearing a mask daily, please, please, please stay on and just listen to this for 2 minutes or less. Now, if you look at the research, and for those of you that would like it, I have a 7-page document that explains why most masks aren't effective, and I'm happy to send it to you. Just private message me. But here's the thing. Yes, in surgery, the doctor and the nursing staff wear masks. They also dramatically refrigerate the room. They pump oxygen into the room. There's several other things that happen when you think of mask wearing. So, the current virus is a certain size that they don't have a mask small enough to protect from. Now, some things like the N95 masks or certain surgical masks, yes, they're able to reduce the amount of particles that come in, but in reality, you're still getting some of that through and into your system. It's just a lower amount. Additionally, if you remember, hospitals, when they were short masks, they were putting their masks nightly under ultraviolet light, because wearing a mask day after day actually can become its own environment to grow that thing. Additionally, when you breathe, so let's get into cloth masks, which even the World Health Organization says healthy people should not be wearing masks. But let's just go ahead and go into cloth masks. The diameter of cloth nearly blocks nothing that comes in contact, because the virus is so small. But people say, well, I don't want to give it to somebody. And so sure, having a mask on can, if you sneeze or cough or whatever, can stop it from flying out into the air. But also, that fact that you breathe warm, wet air into a cloth mask. That's an environment for breeding. It's an environment for, so you possibly are essentially having a petri dish, a cultivation for certain things to grow. And not only that, healthy people are tougher to be carriers. And when you have a mask over your face for long periods of time, you're breathing in carbon dioxide and other gases that were meant to be exhaled. You're breathing that back in, which many researchers have shown activates more viruses and bacteria in your system. So it's more likely to make you sick. Additionally, it weakens your immune system, so if you come in contact with it. And lastly, if it is touching your mask and you're not putting it under ultraviolet light or washing it every single day, when you touch it and then touch your eyes or touch your nose or eat, you actually are putting that stuff into your system. So I get the concern, I get the care, but just realize that just because you think you're doing it doesn't necessarily mean it's working. And so I hope that I challenge your thinking today and just help realize that healthy people should not be doing that. But again, do I wear a mask in the clinic? I will, as long as it's mandated by our state. But I absolutely philosophically do not agree with it. And I think you should, if you are wearing it with the attempt of helping others, I really hope that you read a little more and realize what it's doing. And lastly, if you're doing it to help yourself, to protect yourself, like with a cloth mask, you are doing the opposite. It's just that simple. So hope you're having a great Memorial Day. Empower yourself. Remember what a fever's for, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.